Welcome everyone. Welcome to our series of chats with Greg, where I get to chat with up and coming leaders in our online business. My name's Greg Whelan. I've been a part of this amazing company for 3.5 years. And today it's my pleasure to hang out with my friend Richie Barnett all the way over there in safe Auckland in New Zealand. So how are you, Rich?
Good, Greg. Always good to catch up, mate. And it's all good in New Zealand, actually, through the COVID-19. We're down to level 2, looking at level 1 next week, we hope. And when we've got that on board, hopefully things can move a little bit quicker than it has lately.
Awesome. So you've got a very varied story on and off the playing fields, your health journey, so many different hats you wear. Tell us your story.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, my dream and goal as a kid was to be an NRL player watching the Winfield Cup, and gratefully managed to work my way and reach my goal. It was just an awesome moment in time. So I represented Cronulla back in the 90s, the Roosters, the late 90s, and moved to England actually for another 4 years with Hull FC and London Broncos. I represented my country 27 times, and I captained the mighty Black and Whites against Australia many a time. Enjoyed it, loved it, and through all that, being a professional and in a high performance environment, I was actually a New Zealand touch player through that period as well for New Zealand, again against Australia a number of times, and also a national basketballer, and loved my game of cricket. So a multi sort of discipline person, but generally around the high performance, which I really loved. Moved away from the old sport and my identity changed, and I came back to New Zealand wondering what I could do. Luckily for me, through that period, I had chronic fatigue, so things changed dramatically, and I had that for 12 years, and it really changed my life. One, I couldn't really do a heck of a lot. I was fatigued most of the time, and my life changed considerably. Coming back to New Zealand, it was a time to really repair, and I moved away from Auckland and had some time spent away just to recover. Through that time, I had to find out what could I do next in terms of jobs and financial security. So I found TV found me, and thankfully I was able to work in TV for the last sort of 12 to 13 years. But during that period also, I got involved in fish retail. I started getting involved in seafood or fish and chip franchises. I went into construction as an owner and an operator, and I worked on the tools as well, which was really cool. I got myself involved actually of late. The last 2 or 3 years, I sort of wobbled around a bit, and nothing really sort of touched me as much as what I had found in the last two or 3 years. After going to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, which I saw you, and gratefully I did at that moment. But what it made me aware is that I was really intrigued by human behavior. Leadership was always an important thing, but really about who am I and what can I do to support others. I've always been a really caring person and someone that really wanted to grow as a person, but also try to influence other people to be the best they can be. And then I started a social enterprise, specifically to help youth get into where they are now and where they want to be. Through the dysfunctional, lifestyles that some people do with two parents working quite a lot, I've understood the real need for youngsters to really find out who they want to be and where do they really want to go. So that intrigued me, and so in the last 2 or 3 years, that's been my space, a space that's really enthused me. And I've done an NLP course, neuro-linguistic programming course, 5-day course, fantastic. Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins, and I consistently work in trying to grow myself and help others who are in need. And at the moment, I've got to say, we need more of that. We need people helping each other more than ever before in this current climate. It's in desperate need.
I guess for me, it was interesting when you jumped on board for someone who was an elite athlete for so long, but also suffered with chronic fatigue. So you've got both ends of the spectrum. What did initially the products and what we had to share from a nutrition point of view mean to you?
Yeah, well, I've jumped on sort of scouring what you did on Facebook actually, and I was really curious. And you gave what I loved about it is that you, when we first met, you weren't trying to push the products down my throat. We actually had a discussion, and I was sort of more curious. And you just said, yeah, well, just I'll give you something, and you can have a look at it. And I thought that approach really invited me further. It got me really interested. And when I'm not a skeptical mindset person, so I wasn't skeptical because I knew we had this rapport and trust between each other. I just felt that anyway. Having looked at what you were doing, and I had trust in you at the beginning. And that's when I sort of delved in and had a look at the products, and I went, wow, I've never really heard this product before. And then I sort of looked at further, and I saw it was the most well-researched product on the market. And I was going, well, why? Why is this possible when I haven't heard it? I'm not a product user. Certainly, I've used vitamins before, but certainly something when I've started to understand a bit more. These are not vitamins. These are natural products, fruit and veggies and berries, concentrated, the water taken out, fructose taken out, and they're just whole foods, labeled as whole foods. And there's 33 fruit, veggies, and berries in these. And I think this is not right. This cannot be possibly right. And so when I start to delve into it a bit more and understanding they're not, they're herbicide free, pesticide, non-GMO, genetically modified, products and third generation farms. And I just thought, well, this is a no brainer. So I took them. I remember I ordered them and I went, I'll just give it to me. Because my thing, and it always has been around food. It always has been, not because I was a high performance person. Well, that probably helped, but it was all about my well-being. And that's why I was really interested in it, because I wasn't taking 7 to 13 fruits a day. And the quality that we get in the markets at the moment is not great either. I mean, I'm sick of going into the markets, and maybe I should change eating an apple that's been probably 3 months chilled. So we're not getting the required amounts of phytonutrients anyway. And that really disturbed me. And I just wanted to bridge that gap. So I know, and I'm assured that I'm getting the best possible nutrients into my body.
So potentially that could have been enough that you became aware of the nutritional value for you. Why then a step to the business? Because you're obviously a busy bloke.
Yeah. You know what? I think we move around in life, and we sort of, we connect and we gravitate to something that really appeals to us. And because I was in that line of life coaching and mentoring, that was a natural fit. To be fair, I stayed away from the business because I saw it and I was really impressed by what it offered, but I didn't really know about the business. I thought it was selling products. That's what I initially thought. And that I just thought, well, no, that's not me. I'm not selling products. I'm not a salesperson. So I got into it because the more discussions I had with yourself, the more I was open and privy to the information I was receiving from the community of Juice Plus. I was blown away, absolutely blown away by how people have come from where they are today. And I see mothers in this situation because their identity as a mother that's what it was. Then they moved in when their kids moved out. Who am I after that? And then they tried to find themselves again. This company gave them that. So I saw self-development like I've never seen before. And that's where I worked in. Their growth, they just grew leaps and bounds from this person that had self-doubt to this person that was growing substantially and really improving themselves, but then coming back to help others through it. That's what I was really impressed with. I was impressed with the way you guys handled things too. The way you guys never push things down. You ask questions, you encourage, and you ask the right questions around, do you need any help? Do you want any help? Do you need to move forward? If you do, we're here. But no one's ever pushing this business. It's really quite compelling. And that's why I fell in love with the business. And then I looked at it and we're going, well, I'm crazy. Hang on. I'm looking at this, something that I'm really passionate about. And I'm going, why aren't I really getting involved in this? And because of my other interest, and I looked at it and went, well, this has got to be my vehicle for life, really. This has to be, because there's so many positives through it. Helping other people, improving yourself, and constantly growing. And this is so scalable. This is so scalable. The entry fee in is ridiculously low. You don't have to hold product. They do it all for you. You don't have to worry about staff. It's all being done. You have to worry about is being you, and time management is obviously key. If you want to work hard, you'll get the rewards. You don't have to, you're not governed by, there's a set time that you have to work in from 9 to 5. You can mark out those hours. If you want to work hard enough, you'll get the rewards. It's totally up to you. And that's what I love about the whole company. Brilliant.
Someone said to me the other day, it's a personal development course wrapped up as a business, which is a really interesting way to look about it, because I know exactly what you mean. The first conference we went to was on the Gold Coast, and we walked into the foyer and there would have been 200 ladies in there, either pregnant or with brand new bubs. And I thought we'd gone into the wrong spot, and that's not demeaning those people, obviously. And I've met a lot of them since. But that was a forum that gave them an opportunity to branch out of whatever position they were in and find their own identity and find some value and be embraced by a community. And I think that's what you touched on before. The community is pretty awesome. What else have you found so far on your journey?
I love the fact that the constant development of people coming into this business, there is live communication every day, if not 3 times a day. So you're upskilling. That's what's really poignant about it. It's just not a recordable information. It's not written literature. It's actually seeing someone that if you want to improve on social media, if you want to improve on limited beliefs, if you want to improve on self-doubt, this is the vehicle to get inside. We've got a course, 45 minutes. Someone's going to be online. We're going to have a discussion about it. You're going to learn something. Every day you're learning something. So you're growing your capability and your confidence to move where you want to move and how you want to move. And so I was really impressed with that. The ability to help kids, I think, is really quite cool. And I didn't touch upon it before, but the reason why I got in it is to improve my health. But also I had a kid that wasn't all that great with health. And what I understood is that that company had chewables, which is a form that instead of having capsules, my young fella, being a sports person and that's his sort of destiny, he was not a great eater. So he was able to get those free. And I thought that was fantastic. And so now, funny enough, so he takes them knowing that he doesn't have actually anywhere near the fruit and veggies, and we're quite anal on our food selection, to be brutally fair. But he wasn't. And after I gave him the chewables for about 3 months, he didn't like the veggie ones. After 4 months, he just told me as of a couple of days ago that he actually likes them. So you can see that change in the gut. He's actually starting to feel, and he's consciously aware of it too, because I'm constantly saying, you've got to take those as well. And then he's starting to change. He's starting to change. Off his guts change, but he's consciously too, he's changing. So it's got to be great. I mean, I'm happy that he's changed his ways, and I can see a complete change in his way he's thinking. It's fantastic. It's brilliant.
How good's that? And like a lot of people say, if they get better health themselves and they can change one other person's health, and if it's a family member, that's nearly enough.
And that's it, Greg. And then I had the shakes, and then I offered to give some to a friend of ours, and they just said, listen, and she's a bad eater as well. And so those shakes were just perfect, and they absolutely love it. And so just by that simple method of offering, now they've ordered it, because they care about their daughter. And now she's using that in between meals where she gets, she's not eating well and she can have that shake. And it's just, I mean, that's the satisfaction.
It's a really interesting point, because when you said before you transitioned from pure customer to the business, that you didn't see yourself as a salesman, but in essence, what you just did was shared. Like if we go to a good restaurant, we'll share. If we go and get a good haircut, if you're allowed to have them still, you just share. If you go to and see a good movie, you share. And that's all we do. We just share the products. The products are amazing, and all we are is a conduit between those that know and those that haven't heard yet. So
yeah,
that's a really nice thing. It's not pushy at all, and I find that model really good. So we spoke about dreams before. You're in that, I guess, 10 to 15 years after a sporting career and got a lot of time left on the planet. So what are your dreams for this business for the future?
I want to make this an offer to people that there is another way to work in life. You know, there's a changing landscape and the way we operate in this world with social media. Network marketing's huge, you know, $160 billion and looking to project to 650 billion in 2025. So the world's there. The globe is so closely knitted and networked now that you can sell, you can offer, you can discuss, you can communicate by social media. And the connection's there if you choose to use it. So a smart person will look at it and go, what's holding you back? And I guess it's really the understanding that there's more out there that we can, that's in the world at the moment in terms of work, not the traditional working model, but there is another offer on the table, and it's network marketing really. And so in that mind, I guess that's why I sort of looked at it and went, well, this is, and you own that time. You can do it when you want, how you want, with the support behind you. And that's why I guess this is quite an incredible opportunity. It's just really making a decision to go all in at times. If that's what you want, if you want to replace your income for something that's right like this, then it's there for you to do. But if you're working part-time or you're working a job that you really like, you can use this as a part-time gig, a side income. That's fantastic as well. So it's got quite a number of layers that you can use in this business. It's brilliant. But I just love the actual, because I think what people get caught up in is the association to the old way of doing this, the stigmatization around it. To be brutally fair, I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it in this business. I'm blown away by it. And thankfully, I've come to the right company with the right people. So I'm blessed to hear that. And I know there's been a change. Fraser Brooks is one of those key leaders now, which I absolutely adore. He's fantastic. He's breaking down those barriers, just like we have, to be brutally honest, with the police that, with what we've just had. So our association with that is police are all this, but it's actually not. One police or three policemen made a poor decision. And that's not going to be all police officers in the world. So I think that's an analogy I want to use on this one if there was ever one.
Yep. So speaking of social media and profile, what would you say to people that we know are watching that are thinking of jumping on board?
I think you're really not. I think that there's a bit of fear in stuff that are unknown. And I think the best way to do it is really, if you're looking at your health and well-being, which I think is two of the key most important ones at the moment, and financial is the third. If you are looking at three of those things and one of them is not really working for you, just get in touch with either myself and have just a discussion. There's no commitments, just have a discussion. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. There's nothing more, nothing less. It's just an open discussion. You make your own choices on how you want to do it. But certainly, I always think that skepticism will stop you from looking at opportunities. It always becomes the barrier. And I get it too, because the world is filled with people trying to shove things down your throat. It's coming left, right, and center. So I understand that. But if you just open your mind a bit and ask the questions that you want to ask, and if it's right for you, go ahead with it. If it's not, all good. We're still communicating. We're still best friends. It's all good. But if it's anything to do with those three things, well then, why not try?
I think in the context for the franchise, it cost you 45 cents a day to, like my wife who was able to leave her 30-year teaching career, and every day she gets up, looks in her handbag for 45 cents and goes, yep, we're good today, and go and design a life however you like. And it's ridiculous. You know, it's not a model any of us are accustomed to, but I guess the brave ones, I wouldn't say the smart ones, but the brave ones are willing to say, I want yes to more and show me more. And if it's not a fit, then so be it. So
yeah.
Thanks very much, Rich. It's always good to hang out, mate. And I would honestly say to all of Richie's friends who are watching now, just ring up and have a chat. Just find out. We actually don't advertise per se. We don't have shop fronts. We don't have celebrity endorsements, apart from Richie, of course. And that's why you may not have heard about it and don't know about the model. But I think Richie has really encapsulated the mantra and the drive, the heart-driven space that we come from. So by all means, reach out to him for a chat, and he would love to see what's possible for you. So thanks, mate, and we'll see you soon.
Good man.